Hi, I'm Jamie.
Hi, I'm Tameika.
And
We
we
are
are
the
the
Devines.
Devines.
Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's episode of Date Night with the Devines. We missed you guys. In this day and age of coronavirus, everybody's been staying home and quarantining, and restaurants are closed. We've been unable to bring you a new episode of Date Night with the Devines. But now things are opening up a little bit more and embracing technology. We've been able to bring you a new episode tonight. We're really, really excited. Date Night with the Divines is a show that my husband Jamie and I started last year, actually. And it was an opportunity for us to bring to you interviews with inspiring couples. People have always told Jamie and I how much they love and admire how much we seem to have fun together on our date nights.
Yes.
And we started thinking, because there seems like there's so much people want to see, we would bring you this opportunity to introduce you to other couples that inspire us. And so there we got Date Night with the Divines. So if this is your first time watching, thank you so much. And I hope you join us again. If you are a return guest, please continue to come back and share this broadcast so that more people can see examples of great Black love. So tonight we have a great couple. And Jamie?
We do. We have a great couple, friends of ours from Brooklyn Baptist Couples for Christ Ministry. We have with us tonight Deacon Nathaniel and Jacquie Stewart. Deacon Stewart is a licensed barber, state of South Carolina. Also MC extraordinaire. He does various shows around town and throughout South Carolina, emceeing those particularly gospel shows. And also we have Miss Jacquie Stewart, who is a educator here in the local area. So again, tonight, we want to welcome our guests, Deacon Nathaniel and Jacquie Stewart. So welcome y'all to the show. So thank you for being our guests. All right. So thank y'all for being our guests for tonight. And it's good to see y'all. And I don't know, is it happy quarantine? I don't know. Just it's good to see y'all. It's good to see some other adults. You know, we do have three children, which we love, but it's good to hang out with some other older folk. So again, tonight we're just here just to have a conversation about love and about being Christ-centered in what we do when it comes to marriage. And so we just start, as we normally do. If you could just introduce yourselves, and then once you do that, then if you could just tell us, how did you all meet? How did you come to know each other?
Well, I'm Jacquie, and I am, as Jamie said, an educator. I've been in a classroom for 21 years this year, and I enjoy what I do. I like to read, I like to write poetry, and we have two children, Nathalie, who is 26, and Nicholas, who's 23. And we've been married for 27 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Nate?
I'm Nathaniel Stewart, Deacon Nathaniel Stewart, better known as the Radio Deacon. Y'all remember that? Yes, glory to God. As Jamie made mention, I am a licensed barber in the Columbia area, shop owner, the Cutting Edge Barber Shop in Columbia, right here in the beautiful city of Columbia, and a deacon at the Brooklyn Church. We've had opportunities to MC several gospel programs in the area and in and around the Midlands and out of the state of South Carolina. And we've been blessed to have been married for 27 years. Glory be to God.
Yes, sir.
And Jamie, and you said you wanted to hear how we met.
Yes, sir.
We met in a choir rehearsal at Benedict College, the gospel choir, under the direction of Doris Massey Works.
All right.
And she, as we made mention during her celebration, that she was the cause of us getting together. Doris played a big part in that because she used to counsel Jacquie on trying to find a good man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it happened back then. That's when it all started.
Well, it looked like it's paid off, sir. Like it paid off.
So you guys y'all still were an undergrad when you met.
Right. We met at Benedict, and we dated while we were there for a while, and then we broke up for 10 years.
10 years.
Really?
Okay, I didn't know that.
And
Okay.
then we got back together on a choir reunion for. I used to sing at Haskell Heights, and we had a choir reunion, and they called and wanted to us to come back. So I, in turn, asked Nate about it, and then we got together at the reunion again, choir, and so music kind of brought us together, I guess. And we dated that was in a March. We dated for a little bit more. We got engaged in July, and we got married in November.
Wow. Wow.
So I got to ask, who messed up the first time?
He decided that he wanted to find himself.
Yeah,
I
was not ready.
He wasn't ready. I was older, and I was getting ready to graduate.
Yeah.
He was getting ready to go in the service for a little bit. So, but that's what happened. He wanted to find himself, so he found himself, and I went back home to Greenwood and stayed in Greenwood until that March of coming back to the reunion.
And let me add that during that 10-year separation, nothing was right. Nothing was right with both of us. Even Jacquie, I just talked to a couple just this past weekend about our relationship and how we got started. And here we are on the Divine Night Out and doing the same exact thing. So this is something that we, as 25 and plus years of marriage, we are in the position to help the younger couples. And I was over there with them, and I told them in that 10-year span, nothing went right. It was not right until we got back together that made it right. I tell you, Jacquie, you can tell by some of the downfalls you had during the time when we were not together. Mention some of them.
But you know what, Deacon, that is so true though, because you were young. I mean, Jamie and I were older when we got married, but because you were young, I think sometimes young people rush into something because it's expected. But if you weren't ready, then that might not have worked out right. So you did what you were supposed to do. And then they say if you love something, let it go, and if it comes back, that's meant to be.
That's what my grandmother told me. So when I was sad around the house, she said, "Don't worry about it. If it's meant to be, he'll come back."
Yeah.
Now he will come back.
Oh yeah.
It may not be when you want him, but he'll come back in time. So we did meet, but my grandmother passed away right after we got back together. But we got married, and my mom told me the same thing. She said, "Well, you waited, you were patient. So now here you go."
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Well,
So,
Jamie,
yes, sir.
Let me say this, that in that separation time as well, Jacquie did not have a comfortable relationship with anybody. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You didn't have a relationship with anybody that worked out well.
Right.
I knew from the very beginning when I met Jacquie that God placed it in my heart that would be my wife. I said, glory to God. He said, yes, that is your wife. But I ran away like Noah and jumped into a belly of a whale. Yes, I did. Until I was able to find myself. And we thank God from the very beginning, God told me that is your wife. But I ran from it.
That's right.
I ran from it. Wow. Yeah.
So that actually leads into my next question. What was one of the biggest lessons that you learned in that process? So that's powerful. That's very, very powerful. Let me ask you guys this. You've been married 25 plus years, going on 27 years. What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned about marriage since you've been married in the last 25 plus years? What are some of the life lessons that marriage has taught you all?
Well, I can say that from the marriage vows, I'll go from that part, is when you say for better or for worse, everybody always say, well, we didn't go for the rich or for poor. We just went for poor and a little bit better. This in sickness and health part is what grew me, because when we got married, we had Natalie and then we had Nicholas. Nicholas was getting ready to turn 4, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And when I went to the doctor, they told me that I was gonna have to have surgery, and the surgery was scheduled for Nicholas's 4th birthday. I wasn't having it. I just decided that I wasn't gonna do it because I wanted to be here with him to celebrate his 4th birthday, and not knowing, what might happen. Because when you hear the word cancer, you automatically think, it's almost the end. But Pastor Jackson preached a sermon called Surely the Sunday before I had my surgery.
Yeah.
And I had my surgery after some of my friends and Nicholas' godparents got together and gave him a birthday party. And Nate was there. Nate was a little nervous when I went to go find out. I didn't tell him in the beginning. I took a friend with me to find out the results because I didn't think that he would be able to handle it. And when I went to tell him, he was a little upset about it, but he immediately called Pastor. And Pastor Jackson called back and we prayed at the barbershop. And after all of that, we went through that and everything was fine, but he was there. He had people in, and we had people. Our church family played a big part. They came into the role and they made sure that the children never missed a rehearsal. They never missed a program or practice or going anywhere. Their life just went on as if nothing else was happening, but they knew to come. They even brought them to the hospital to see me. And I tell people that the children went through the journey with me. After having that, the first time, I was diagnosed again a second time with breast cancer. But when I got diagnosed this time, our daughter Natalie was getting ready to get married. And Natalie got married in November like we did. But we didn't tell them that I was getting ready to have surgery. In that same time, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then Nate had to go to the doctor and he was diagnosed with cancer. So we both were going to have surgery, and we couldn't tell the children what, we were going through, but we were there. And immediately after the wedding, I had surgery on that Tuesday after her Saturday wedding, and Nate had surgery 5 days later. But we're here to tell the story.
Tell the story.
Yeah, that's it. Tell the story. Tell the story. Well, amen to that. That's for better or for worse, in sickness and in health.
Yes. Yes.
That's called commitment. That's called commitment.
Yes. And didn't Natalie, did she get married on your anniversary?
Well, we got married on November 28th, and she got married on the 30th. But it was the exact same weekend. She got married on a Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. So that's how it works.
That's how it ended up working, that she still got married Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Wow. So having a daughter who, just got married, a lot of times, especially for fathers with your baby girls, y'all try and act all hard like, nobody's good enough for your baby girl. But of course, you pray that she's going to meet a good man, a God-fearing man. But you also pray that through example, you guys have taught her some lessons about love and marriage. What do you hope that she has taken away from growing up and seeing your love all this time?
Well, I'll tell you, Natalie has definitely been a model daughter from the very beginning. She has been a model daughter, have had no problems out of Natalie nor Nicholas during their whole time of being in the house. They had no problems with them. And I thank God for that. And we can knock on several woods for that as well. That I believe our biggest thing was that they stayed in the church. Our church was our foundation for keeping a good grounded relationship, a good grounded family, and being able to raise our children. The church played a major part. And that's why we wanted to move into the neighborhood where we could get to the church as quick as possible, so that they'll have the opportunity to be a part of everything that was going on around the church. It paid off. Trust me, it paid off. And so I do believe that a lot of time they don't say it, but they are watching every little thing that we do. And I believe that they learned a lot of good lessons,
Right.
even the good and the bad, and how to handle situation, and not to be too loud, like sometimes I could be around the house. That calm. Stay calm and not to get too overexcited about some things, you know.
Right.
But I
Understood.
do believe that Natalie had found a great man in Cam. And so we just bless God that he's a part of our family now. And he's been raised properly and came from a good family down in Charleston, that good Charleston water down there.
Oh.
And yes, sir, we just blessed that Natalie is drinking from a good fountain. Yes, sir.
But you know, one of the things that stood out for us is that Natalie and Cam came to the Couples for Christ retreat with you guys this year.
Right.
That's right.
When she met Cam, well, when they were dating for a little while, they went through and then they met each other at a choir at Winthrop.
Mm-hmm.
But
on the choir at Winthrop.
So which was another coincidence. But what I wanted to tell you is that Pastor used to preach about your date being at church. And when she came back to Columbia, she brought Cam to church and introduced him to Pastor Jackson. And she told Pastor Jackson then that she thought he was the one, but she wanted to introduce him to Pastor Jackson. And she did. And then she decided that she said, well, Mom, I was dedicated at church, so I want to get married at my church.
Right.
It said a lot to me that she wanted to go back. And I said, okay, so I give you to God when we dedicate you. And now we go right to the church and we give you to this man that be your husband. But at least they got it in the church. They had she listened to the sermons that Pastor preached. So when we set an example, we have to make sure that our children see and believe what we believe by going and showing when Pastor says about taking the children to church and being involved, then they will be involved. So in the same way with the marriage, she knew that we were going to the marriage retreat all the time.
All the time.
And we would always take them, to stay with somebody else. And she said, oh, now we get to find out what y'all be doing at the marriage retreat. So it was fun. It was funny. It was kind of wondering, but she said, Mama, this was very good. And they really got a lot out of the retreat this year. And they talked about it. And Cameron was really impressed that there was so many couples there. And she told one of her friends that's getting married, they're supposed to get married at the end of this year. But she did say, and I heard her say that to them, was one thing you have to do is, because you're married now, you need to realize that you still have some single friends, but surround yourself with married friends. Mm-hmm. So I think if she didn't learn anything else, she did learn that, you have to surround yourself with people of the like mind.
Mm-hmm. Takes us to our next question.
Exactly. Because you get again, as you guys travel with other couples, how did you come about, and why do you believe it's important to have friendships with other couples? And you sort of kind of alluded to that. So can you expound upon that just a little bit? The importance of being with other married couples. I know that you're friends with some others in the church who've been married 25 plus years, who's been with the marriage ministry for several years. So how important is it to see other married couples in this process?
Yes, I can definitely contest that. Being with other couples plays a great part in sticking things together, because you always have people you can go to and converse. And special friend, my brother, the Reverend Cartrell Bloom, and the sister Lisa Bloom.
That's right.
We all got married on the same day. Now, how good can that be?
Wow.
He always blames it on me, but I blame it on him that we messed up the date and got married on the same day, and we could not be at each other's wedding because of that. Isn't that something? His was at 5 and I was at 6. Wow. We were in Greenwood and they were here in Columbia. Okay. And so, but friendship plays a major part in relationships and couples and marriage. And so, hey, you got to have it. It works. It's part of it. It's a part of it.
And we got married in November, and a couple, Kathy and Reverend Really Wright, were over the couples ministry.
Yeah.
They invited us to come to the retreat that February, just like Natalie and Cam did again. Got married in November and went to the retreat in February before we were married. So we went that first year, and we met a lot of people. We became friends, not only with the Blooms because we were already friends, but we became friends with Noreen and Charles Dowdy.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been a friendship that has lasted gone into like a family.
That's right.
And then Dale and Denise. So the people that we met on the committee and the people that we met at the retreat played an important part, in building our marriage. Willie and B. Stevens, we saw Reverend Mr. and Miss Felder. They were the older couples that told us about what we needed to be doing, and then going to the retreat. And so the more we went to the retreat, the more people we met.
Oh, yeah.
So just like we met y'all and had a good time at the retreat, the more people we meet and the more we talk about it, people are interested and want to know what's going on at the retreat.
Yeah.
And it's not to fix a marriage. It is just so that I tell people that the couples retreat is to bring couples together of like minds so that we can share and have good times together.
Right.
It's not about fixing your marriage. It's just about getting information to keep your marriage going.
It's to get you some glue and whatever else to take it to stick. That's what the retreat does. It gives you some gorilla glue so that you can hold together no matter what comes your way. That gorilla glue.
Dick, I think you missed your calling, Doc. I think you missed your calling. Comedian.
Yeah.
Let's add that to comedian extraordinaire, as well as barber extraordinaire, and as well as MC extraordinaire.
Oh, go ahead, Jamie. Go ahead.
All right.
I got to deal with extraordinaire at the house.
Oh my God! Don't give enough to get back on me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now that you guys are empty nesters, and y'all, clearly y'all have fun together. What are some of the things that you guys like to do to spend time together and have your date nights, especially like during this quarantine where you couldn't go out? What kind of things do you guys do to have fun and spend time together?
All right, this is about being honest. Nate can't be still.
I can't be.
Never has. He's always on the go. So he has. I can tell you that I have a garden that's probably full of everything because he's done that. He's been out there in the garden.
I got a garden.
I've been writing. I like to write poetry, so I've been writing a couple poems. I like to read, so I do a lot of reading. And most of all, I do a lot of cooking, and he likes to do a lot of eating. So
all right.
So we do a lot of things. I tell people what works in our house may not work in yours, but it's working.
Right.
It's working. It's working. It's working. Yeah.
But we have fun. We have fun, and we have times that I tell him he really gets on my nerve with that. Can you just stop talking?
Don't slam that door. That's too loud. Nate.
Love it.
But that's life. Anybody that says that they don't have any kind of disagreement or sometimes things don't work right, then I would challenge them to show me that, because in everybody's relationship, you agree to disagree, and it's okay because we don't have the same opinion of everything all the time.
That's right.
But then we work it out in the end. So, all people always say to me, I know it's just nothing but a lot of laughter in your house. Deacon Stewart is so funny. And I give them the look. And my look is to look at them and say, well, baby, he's funny when y'all are around him, but that fun is not always funny to me.
It may not be funny to Miss Jacquie. No, God. So I'm around here sometimes laughing at myself, Jamie. Sometimes I'm laughing at
whatever keeps you happy, brother. Whatever keeps you happy.
That's right.
Whatever keeps you happy. Well, listen, y'all. We're gonna bring this to a close, and just before we do, I always like to ask our special guests closing questions. And the one closing question is, what would you share with a younger Nate or a younger Jacquie as it pertains to marriage and some things that you're giving us a bunch of nuggets. Are there any more nuggets that you would share with us, with our audience, as to what you would share with a younger, looking back 20 something years, that first, second, third year marriage? What would you share with a younger Nate or a younger Jacquie as to how to go down this thing called marriage in life's journey?
I think I would say, to me, the younger Jacquie, I would probably say that communication is the real key, that you have to listen. My mom told me before when I got married, she said, sometimes it's just better to say nothing than to say a bunch of things that won't mean anything. Mm-hmm. So it's better not to say it at all. And that you can't have an argument with somebody if you're not arguing back. So when you have a disagreement, and if you know that it is something that you're not going to agree with, and you know that that's the bottom line, hey, just say okay and leave it alone and go on with it. It's not worth it to waste the energy to go ahead and just go back and forth, because it only makes you, it pulls you further apart. But then you got to take your time and sit down and think. I think communication is the key, but in communication, it's always two. Sometimes you got to talk, and most of the time you got to listen.
That's right.
And I'll add to that, to a young Nate, and matter of fact, I was just, like I said, talking to a younger couple past weekend, and they are in the house together, living together with 2 children. And I said, now this is my opportunity here to express marriage and let them know the importance of marriage. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? They've been together for 10 years and have not married yet, living together and what have you. And I was telling them, come on, what are you waiting for? Your children need you together to show forth that the love of God and what God speaks of about marriage is important in this house. Be the man of the house, stand tall and move forward. If you're not going to marry, move on out the way so she can find somebody else to marry.
Right.
So I said to them, listen to the word, the voice of God. God is already speaking when we come together, no matter if it's on a date, if we are going on a ride or wherever, a couple come together, God has already spoke what this is either yay or nay. And if it's yay, move forward to the nay part and make things work. Work it out. Make it work. Make it work. Especially if he done said yay.
Wow. That's good. Excellent points. Excellent points. Well, again, Deacon Stewart and Miss Jacquie, thank you all so much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate those nuggets, those words of wisdom. You know, you didn't get here alone for 25, 27 years by yourself. We know that God is in the midst. Even after a 10-year hiatus, you got back together. Anything worth having is worth waiting for. So again, thank you all so much for being with us tonight. And Tameika's going to take us out.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for being here. We are definitely our pleasure to have you guys. And thank you to our viewers for sticking with us through the 2-month hiatus we've had and being here tonight for this show. We're looking forward to continuing to bring you another more amazing couples like Nate and Jacquie Stewart, to give you advice, give you some laughter, give you some encouragement, but most of all, let you know that marriage is a partnership and it's a covenant with God. And as we continue to honor God by having great marriages, we've got to uplift and highlight other positive marriages so people see great examples of Black love. We want to thank our sponsors. Because we've done this new technology thing, we don't have their logos here, but I cannot end the show without thanking our normal sponsors. We've got Nada Rufford with Style by Nada, John T. Elliott, Professional Hair Design, Isaac Insurance Agency, State Farm, Visions Bay Plain, Darren Murphy, who is normally our cameraman. And of course, I know he's going to help us out to get this thing right. With Jabber and Isaac, and of course the Possibilities Institute, myself, Tameika Isaac Devine. So thank you so much, and continue to like and share this. Follow us if you are not following us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook at the Date Night with the Devines Facebook page, and continue to share this. And we look forward to seeing you next third Monday for another episode of Date Night with the Devines. Good night and God bless.
Yes, sir.